I have had one-on-one conversations with over 5,000 web designers, and the truth is, not a lot of web designers are making money right now, but it doesn't have to be that way. I'm Lee Blue, I'm the founder of DoubleStack, where I personally mentor some of today's top-earning web designers, and I regularly mail out this trophy. I mailed this out last week. This is the DoubleStack 5-Figure Family Awards. Like if you land a client that's worth over $10,000, I mail you this trophy. And we regularly send that out. It's a lot of fun. So what are we doing that's different in DoubleStack that other people aren't doing that's causing them not to make the same kind of results that we're getting? And one of the things is packaging web design services. And I've noticed that there's 3 major frameworks for how people package their web design. One of them is complete trash, and one of them doesn't work at all anymore, although it used to, which is why I think a lot of people are still stuck in the old mindset. And so I want to share with you all 3 frameworks so you can see what's working, and you can see which of the models is going to work best for you. This is not a video about lead generation, although I do think that the way that you package your web design services has a major implication for lead generation. But if you want to see how we're getting leads, I'm going to put a link up in the corner at the end of this video so you can see our local legends framework, or I'll also put a link in the description if you want to jump to that on how we're getting leads. But this video is going to be about web design packaging and how you can actually make real money in 2025 as a web designer. And so here's the first one. The first one that doesn't work very well is also by far the most common. So when I interview these 5,000 web designers, I would say, hey, send me a link to your website. Let me take a look at what's going on. And so I go and look at people's websites, and probably at least 90% of the time, I land on a website that starts listing services like website design, logo design, copywriting, SEO, ads, social media management, just like a list of services. And I think the thinking behind it is that a business owner will go onto Google, search for something like SEO services or web design near me or something like that. And then up pops this website, and then you get hired to build websites. And in fact, I actually ran my agency like that. So I have my agency for I started my web design agency in 2002. And I've been doing it now, I guess that's 23 years. And I used to do that. I used to try to build websites for people. But around probably about 2012 is when I noticed that this is just never going to pan out. Because what would happen would be, I would get all these clients. I had 50 different people that I built websites for. But the only thing that I was charging them for was hosting, maybe $20 to $50 per month for hosting. And then what would happen would be, none of the clients would have any major problems or anything, but because I had 50 or whatever clients, every day it seemed like people would say, hey, we just hired a new employee. Can you post this image? Or we had to let somebody go. Can you take this image off? Or we have a new phone number, or just all these little requests. And then what would happen would be I would start doing all I'd open up my inbox and I have little requests from people, and I would just be doing all kind of extinguishing all these little fires throughout the day. And then I'd get to the end of the day and I'm exhausted. I felt like I've been super busy all day long, but I also feel like I haven't done anything. And I certainly haven't made any money. I haven't sent any invoices because I don't feel right sending a 5-minute invoice or 10-minute invoice to update a photo when I'm already charging them $50 for the hosting. So it's just a business model that was a mess, because I had one-time web design projects with almost no recurring revenue on the back end. And I feel like that's a really bad business model for trying to actually make money in web design. And it's even worse today because everyone has these very low budget expectations for what it would cost to do any one of these services. And I think kind of for good reason too, because a lot of business owners have hired web designers to get websites, and they're not getting any results from them. And so I think if you were to increase the price without changing the way you package the services, a lot of people are going to say, yeah, I've already done that. I've already bought the website. I already did the SEO. I already tried social media management. It doesn't work for me. I'm not going to throw more good money after bad services or after bad results. So what about this? And on top of that, to kind of underscore this, I just talked to somebody a couple of days ago who sent out 2,500 emails to try to land people to build websites and everything, and 0 responses, right? That's crazy. Because in DoubleStack, we get 10 to 20% response rates on ice cold emails. And I think not all of it. Again, if you want to see how we're getting the leads, check out the local legends training. I'll link you to in a minute. But I think a big part of it is how we package the services. So framework number 1 of ad hoc menu kind of buffet style services, just please don't do that anymore. That's so. It just burns you out. So what are the other options that you could do? Well, the middle option is what I would refer to as modular packages. And so the difference between ad hoc services and a module or a modular package is that you combine a collection of services into something that is more results oriented as opposed to implementation oriented. So for example, you might have a social media traffic package where it's not just social media management, but now you're thinking through, well, where are all the ways that I can get traffic through like a social type of experience? So what I mean by social is it's not paid ads, but it's not like organic SEO either. It's the other stuff. So it's kind of hard to think of a word for that. So I just kind of call it social traffic. But I mean like conversational traffic on Facebook, for example. Like keep in mind that I'm talking about all of this in the context of local service businesses. And so haven't you ever been onto Facebook, or maybe even you've done this yourself, I've done this before, where something goes wrong, like, oh, I've got ants in the kitchen, like where can I find a pest control business near me? And then someone says, oh, you ought to try, Mike, he's got this pest control business, and then they tag Mike in a comment on my post, and then I click Mike's tag and I go over to his Facebook page. Well, one of the things that we would offer would be like a weekly post on the Facebook page. And why a weekly post? What's that going to do? It's not going to grow an audience on Mike's pest control whatever thing just by having a weekly post. But what it will do is when people say, hey, does anyone know a pest control business? Go click on Mike's thing. They'll be like, oh, well, he's posting once a week. It's relatively fresh content. It's not like that he hadn't posted anything since 2020 or something like that, right? And so I feel like, well, he's still in business. He's still doing stuff. And then I'll probably either call from the Facebook page or click through from Facebook to his website and stuff like that. So like just that weekly post is enough to keep the page looking professional and active. But then I'll also say, well, what about your Google business profile and Google Maps and like that type of traffic? Because that's not really organic SEO in the sense of like, keyword research and stuff you do on your website. So I kind of throw that into the social traffic package. And so we'll kind of put together a whole package that is like Google business profile management, trying to get reviews, got the Facebook page going on, like all of that together in a package so that the local service business actually has like a content strategy, an outreach strategy, like a traffic to leads to clients kind of funnel from their social traffic. And so that would be a module. And then that way, if somebody came to you, or maybe you can even reach back out to somebody where you've already built websites for them, but maybe all you're doing right now is hosting, and say, hey, look, we've got this social traffic package. Would you like to upgrade to that? Here's how it works. It's not social media management. It's more like a whole funnel of like a whole sequence all the way from traffic to leads to clients on how we drive social traffic into your business so you actually get paying clients out of that. For next week's video, what if we talk about how to get clients even if you don't have a huge portfolio, or how to limit change requests and scope creep? If that sounds good, subscribe or like, and let me know what you think in the comments. And then maybe you set up a couple of other ones too, like maybe you have an ads package, but it's not just running the ads, it's setting up the whole funnel. So it goes from ads, like first of all, I guess you have to have the ad creative, but then you do like the ad manager stuff, like all the targeting, and then you set up a landing page, and the landing page has a call to action. And then depending on what type of business you're working with, the call to action could just be, hey, call for immediate service, like if it's a tree service business. Or it could be, stick your email address in here and, learn something about chiropractic care or something like that. Because like if you're going to go to a chiropractor, you probably want to learn a little bit about it before you jump into it. Whereas if a tree fell on your driveway, you don't need to watch a webinar to know that you want it off, right? So you're kind of thinking a little bit about the context of the business. But the ads thing, it's not just the ads. It's the ads to the landing page to the call to action to actually getting a client. So it's more of a funnel than it is an ads package. And so you have that module and you can bolt that on to something you maybe already built the website. Hey, do you want to run ads now? And then maybe a third one would be the organic stuff. Like, like all the stuff below the Google Maps thing, where you're doing like on-site optimization and keyword research and getting backlinks and stuff like that to try to boost your organic listing. And so you might have that, but it's not just about boosting the organic listing. Again, it's more of like a complete funnel where you have like for us, like we don't even get to the organic part, which I'm going to get to this in just a second about the priority of everything, but we don't even usually offer organic marketing until we've done some of the ad work, because we use the keywords that we target in ads to figure out what the keyword should be for the organic SEO, because it's hard to do keyword research on a local level. And so we use the ads to help with that. Okay, so now we've got this modular packaging going on where you have like a collection of services with a results-oriented goal behind it, and it's ongoing. Like it's not just let me do one thing for you and then stop, it's ongoing. And so then you can start charging subscription revenue for that, like monthly marketing packages for that. And I think like the three different levels that we're talking about, I would say the modular pricing is almost at the tippity top. But then there's one that's even better than that, which is what I call a value ladder. And the difference between modular pricing and a value ladder is priority. So like in a value ladder, you do like one thing, then the next, and then the next after that. So it's not like you go to like step 4 of the value ladder, then down to step 2, and then up to step 6. It's like you go step 1, step 2, step 3. And so like you do the most important stuff first, and then you kind of go up to level 2, which is still important, but not as important as step 1. And then, so you see how there's like a hierarchy there, it kind of builds on itself. And I feel like that's the best approach, because if you're able to use your knowledge of what's most important and the knowledge of your own experience, so that when a client comes into you and they're like, hey, I really need help with getting more traffic and more leads and more clients and more revenue and expanding my service area, and like you can listen for what the problems are and then use your experience to prioritize what kind of goes into the package first. And then once they get some results from that, they can grow up over time. And so the cool thing about that is with a value ladder, you don't have to start at the bottom rung. Like normally speaking, when I'm presenting from the value ladder, I'll start at the top and I'll say, hey, out of all the stuff that we just talked about, I recommend doing all of it right now. And then if they can't do that, then maybe we bump down to the mid tier where we're doing like pretty important stuff. It's kind of like the sweet spot where I want most people to start. What if they don't have the budget for that? They could just jump down to like the bottom one. And so the way that I think about the value ladder is this. So like picture in your mind like a Google search results page. And like when you go to Google and you type something, especially for a local business, the first thing you'll see across the top are ads. And then right below the ads, you see the map pack, like the Google business profile results, like the local map pack. And then below that, you see organic. And I want my clients to dominate the whole SERP, like to be on ads, maps, and organic. But what if they don't have the budget for all of that? Well, then I'll say, well, organic is probably the least important of the two, of the three. And so let's just do ads and maps for now. And they're like, well, I don't even have an ad budget. And I'll say, well, let's just focus on maps. And so my value ladder would go maps to ads to organic. And you can start with all three. You can just do 2. You can just do maps and ads. But if you don't even have an ad budget, let's at least do maps. So that way you're getting some traffic and then get the results to bump up to ads. And after you get some results from ads, do the long-term organic. And so I'm putting priority into the mix, as well as a bundle of services that's recurring revenue. And the cool thing about that is, even if you get connected with clients that don't have a huge budget to begin with, they can grow with you over time. And so contrast that from what I was doing like in 2010 or 2012, where I was just kind of landing clients, getting like a one-time setup fee, and then getting like peanuts for recurring revenue for hosting. Now, every time you get a new client, you stack on another layer of revenue. And the cool thing about that is every time you get a new client, you're kind of giving yourself a raise because you're putting the new revenue on top of the revenue you've already got. But even better than that is the layers themselves get thicker, like the layers themselves grow because you actually grow the clients. So now you're growing in 2 different ways. You're growing by stacking more revenue on top of itself as you're getting on more clients, and you're actually growing the individual layers themselves. And that's how you make money in 2025. Like that is the secret to making money in web design in 2025. Now, again, if you want to see how we're getting leads, check this out. But now what do you do? Oh, there's a local legends. Don't forget to check that out. But check out this video over here if you want to see how to take the packaging and actually implement that into your business with 3 steps that I'm confident can really boost your business. These are the 3 steps that I'm seeing that the top 1% of web designers are doing in terms of implementing packages into their business. Check that out right there, and I'll see you in a minute.